Also tonight, fired FBI Acting Director Andrew McCabe making an astonishing admission about the unprecedented effort by himself and other top Justice Department officials to try to take down President Trump.
I was very concerned that I was able to put the Russia case on absolutely solid ground in an indelible fashion, that were I removed quickly or reassigned or fired, that the case could not be closed or vanish in the night without a trace. I wanted to make sure that our case was on solid ground.
Remarkable. Even if you don't like President Trump, shouldn't most Americans be at least a little concerned about what McCabe just admitted there? And let's not forget, McCabe is just one of several rogue FBI agents, no longer in a position because of their dangerous behavior. That includes Comey, Strzok, Page, and James Baker. Here now, House Intelligence Committee ranking member Devin Nunes. Congressman Nunes, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
It's been a busy day, busy news day on Valentine's Day.
It has indeed. And look, there's a weird kind of disconnect, right? A cognitive dissonance here of a man who is, for some reason, saying that because he might be removed at some point, he would have to try to make sure this investigation didn't go away, as though he was running the FBI by himself in a garage. What is your take on the seriousness of this, considering it's a remarkable admission about the highest levels at the Justice Department to reverse a presidential election? What can you say to our viewers tonight about this?
So that's the first time I heard that clip in its entirety. The first word that comes to me is a bunch of gibberish. What is he saying there, right? I mean, what actual evidence did you have that the Trump campaign was colluding with Russians? You had none. They had zero. The only evidence that they had was the evidence that the Clinton campaign had got from Russians and had delivered it to the FBI that McCabe knew had come from the Clinton campaign and Strzok and all the others. At that time, when he's talking that gibberish about how he's going to make sure that this investigation continues, we already know that the lead investigator, Peter Strzok, has said that there's going to be no there there. That, in other words, there's not going to be any collusion. So that's essentially what I think of it.
Well, he also noted in part of this interview that will be, I guess, on another network on the weekend, is that he was shocked by it was Comey's firing, and he was then afraid that, well, if something happened to him, this is what he wanted to try to reinforce what this investigation was. We know that you can fire an FBI director, and there's many layers of leadership in that agency at the Department of Justice. These are not single individuals who are in charge. It makes no sense to say that you went out of your way. And this is a man who's now has been referred to the Justice Department for charges based on his lying to Congress about his own actions to cover up his own behavior. And yet he keeps pointing at the White House and the president as being the problem, in addition to conspiring with other people there to remove the president from office in a remarkable way.
I think that's the key term that you just used there, is that they conspired early on in 2016 to open a counterintelligence investigation into a political campaign.
Right.
So that is where they definitely did conspire. And then they pushed this, so much so that they got a FISA warrant on an American citizen. It came up totally empty. They got nothing. It was renewed 4 times. This continued on into 2017 after President Trump was sworn in.
Yeah.
And then a small cabal there decided that
is it small?
Donald Trump
that's the other
be
point.
president.
That's the other point that we all have to consider and wonder about as we must investigate this. How small was it? Is this just the tip of the iceberg? This was happening and Americans did not know. It would have been the usurpation of an American presidency illegally from at the highest levels of our Justice Department. That is what I think should concern the American people here. Obviously, we're going to be learning more. Thank you, sir, for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
busy day. Appreciate it. Coming up, Senator Bob Menendez threatens to call the cops on a reporter just for doing his job. That reporter joins us exclusively coming up next.